Okay, guys, somebody asked me about for loops. I just woke up. I'm grumpy, and that's just how it is, ladies and gentlemen. So let's go ahead and do this. So I just made my object, just put it in my room, made a create event, adding code. My code window is way too big. Scale it down. Okay, so a for loop is basically going to do something over and over and over and over again, however many times you want it to happen. And it's pretty easy to make. It took me a long time to understand it, and really, unless you're using this, unless you finally see a need for it, you don't, you're not going to figure it out. So, unless you're actually self-disciplined, you're going to write this code a few hundred times. You probably will forget it as soon as you watch this video, which sucks because it's an extremely useful code. Once I actually learned it, I find a need for it everywhere. That's the thing about coding. You'll be doing something one way, and then you'll find this one little tiny piece of code that can replace hundreds of lines of code. So that's just how it is, and for loops are awesome. I love them. You can use them at the beginning of the game to create a bunch of objects everywhere, and you can use them for a lot of things. You absolutely need them if you're going to make an inventory of some kind for a game. They're a very important piece of code. So I recommend you somehow, some way, learn them, and maybe I'll go over some more useful things. Why they're more useful in another time. I don't know. So there's three things that you're going to do in a for loop. You're going to do a statement, set a condition, and do another statement. First, let me write out an if statement. If I equals 5, then show message I. Okay, so this is an if statement. You already know what this does. This right here is a condition, I equals 5, and this right here is a statement. Remember, statements do something. They do an action. Statements are always perform an event. And a condition is always, well, it's a condition. It's saying if this is true, then do this. So that is what a condition, that's what a statement is. And basically, within a for loop, you can make a mini if statement, which is pretty cool. You can also create a variable within an if statement. So let me go ahead and show you how you make one. First, you just put for, and then you put in parentheses, and then now there's the three things you're going to be doing in here. The first thing we're going to do is create a variable. You can name this variable anything you want to name it, myvar, anything you want to name it. Typically in a for loop, people name it I, or just a single letter. So I'm going to name it I, and I'm going to give this variable I just created the value of 0. So it's just like doing it in the create event. I equals 0. So easy stuff. After that, you want to put a semicolon, and the next thing you're going to do is set a condition. And I'm just going to put a space just so it all looks neat. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do is set a condition. So we're going to put if I is less than 9, okay, and then you want to put another semicolon, and then we're going to do a statement. I plus equals 1. I'm trying to make this neat so it doesn't confuse you. So there we go. The first thing we did was create a variable called I, and we set it at the value of 0. Then we said if I is less than 9, then do this. I plus equal 1. And of course we separate them all by semicolons. This right here doesn't really need a semicolon, though I think you can put one, but I'm not sure. Okay, so that's all it does. It's easy. Variable, condition, statement. Not only that, after that's done, you can put in brackets, and you can add more things. So show message I. And so what's going to happen is, this right here is going to loop over and over and over and over again. So our variable's already created. Well, now it's going to go through, and since I is less than 9, it starts out 0. Since I is less than 9, it's going to add 1 to the variable I, so it will go up to 1. And then it's going to run through this code one time. And then, okay, I is still less than 9, so it's going to add 1 to I, and then it's going to run through this code again. So it's going to do everything in these brackets over and over and over and over again until I is finally greater than 9. So we can go ahead and run this. So it starts off at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's it. That's so many times it does it. And that was 9 times it went through counting 0. Because 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is 9 times. So if we wanted it 10 times, we'd go from 0 to 10, and it would go all the way up to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and stop. So there you go. So that's all there is to it. I mean, you could, heck, I mean, one thing that you could do, let's create another object really fast with a sprite. It's really fast. And I do this a lot. I use it to create other objects at certain positions. Object, wall. Let's name it object wall. And I didn't even have to place it in the room, but what I can do is this. Instance create x, y, plus I times 32. And then object, what was it, wall? Okay, so what this right here is going to do is create our wall at y plus, and then it's going to do this mathematical equation right here, I times 32. Well, okay, when it goes around first, it's going to be equal to 0, so what is 0 times 32? 0. Okay, then it's going to go again, and I will be 1. Okay, well, what's I times 30, or, yeah, what's 1 times 32? 32. Then it's going to go again, and it'll be 2. Well, what's I times, or, 2 times 32? That's 64. So it's just going to constantly change this I right here. So I is constantly going to be multiplied by 32. So it's just going to create a straight line of blocks. Just bam, 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 bam. So we can go ahead and run that code. Should work fine. There it goes. Just a straight line of blocks. And that is pretty cool. If we want to separate them a bit, we could change it up to 34, I guess. So there you go. That is pretty easy stuff. Again, you'll be using this for stuff like inventories to check what slot position is open and whatnot. And yes, sir, it is good stuff. Easy to learn. If you have any questions, just send me a message.